Hello everyone, my name is Nick Yohannan, and today I'm very excited to be finally showing off my visual journal assignment I've been working on for Art 327. What I did for this assignment was I made an art gallery using the source engine, and in this art gallery are a bunch of different exhibitions hosting content from each respective unit from the semester. In these exhibitions I have short summaries of that unit's content, as well as my own artistic expressions related to that content, such as sculptures, drawings, paintings, photographs, etc. But before we begin, I just kind of want to explain the game engine I'm using to render all this. So the source engine is a game engine that was made back in 2007-ish, maybe a little earlier, for games like Half-Life 2 and Portal, which were really well known for their use of lighting, which here you can see it's got really good high dynamic range to it. It's got great shadows, and it just looks great with the reflections bouncing off the light here into the space. And I figured this would be the perfect engine to use for making an art gallery space. But yeah, with that, let's get to the tour. So as we round this corner here, we can see the entrance, the Art 327 Gallery. Issues in art education and the public. Very cool. As we continue forward, we go into this courtyard space. This courtyard is the center of the art gallery and also hosts one of the units from the semester, Arts Define the Community. As we back up here just for a moment, we have these directories here that point you in the right direction to the various units you might be looking for. I'm gonna no clip up for a second so you can just read this well. I should have put a light in front of this too, but as you can see, like on the left, we have History of Art Education and STEM the STEAM. We'll get to that in a minute. First, let's go to Arts Define the Community. So I made this spinning sculpture thing in the game engine, rendering real time. It just looks so cool. What I wanted to do with this was make a sculpture that looks like it would be inviting in a public space that could invite community and bring up, discussions around that community of, the art that defines it. But here's one of the examples of the summaries I had been writing for the units. Here, I'll kind of go up in front of it so you can read it. If you would like to pause the video, you can go ahead, just to get an idea of what I wrote. So that's Arts Define the Community. Let's go left into History of Art Education and STEM the STEAM. Just gonna get a look at these hallways again real quick. I just love how this looks. The source engine is so good at rendering like any kind of light in interior spaces. It just looks gorgeous. Here though, we have History of Art Education. And in here is a horse that's from the Half-Life, it's from Half-Life 2, but I figured it'd be prudent to put it in here. It fits the space very well. I also took some images from the slides from the very first lecture and put them in here. I figured it'd be a good place to, display them around. But coming to my own content that I made, here's just kind of my summary of History of Art Education in that unit, as well as my own portrait. Yeah, turned out all right. I did this using purple pastel. I figured I'd make a portrait since like art education in the past was done by apprenticeship, and what they did best to practice that was just tons and tons of portraits. That's probably why there's so many in existence. But so coming up to STEM the STEAM, we go into this congressional boardroom type of place. And my reasoning for this was, I kind of go into it over here too if you'd like to read it. But my thinking was that if STEM is going to be changed into STEAM at any point soon in the future, that is going to be a huge shift in reform for the entire country on how we operate our education system. And the only place of possibly achieving that would be, I feel like, in the very institutions that govern our populace. and could make these decisions or have the power to make these decisions. Over here I also included a slide from the first unit, but I felt like it fit pretty well here, and arguing for the reason of why we should have STEAM over STEM. But yeah, continuing forward, let's go over to, let's get a light on so we can actually see this. Let's go over to integration on the left here. Just love looking at this courtyard. It looks so good. I spent entirely too long getting the lighting to look right in this area, but here we have integration. So for this space, I took some photographs over the summer because I wanted to go outside, you know, a little bit. It was so nice this summer, and I figured since for this unit it talks a lot about, you know, children learning to play in nature and how that helps foster creative development. I would do some of my own and just go out and take photography in interesting location. Here's some text on the matter. But then let's go over to child development and art and exceptionalities. Continuing forward, I also put up these indicating signs for in front of the gallery spaces. We go into this location here. This was a painting I did, kind of a small little painting in my sketchbook. I originally was going to put it in the integration section, but I was starting to run out of space around the map, so I figured I'd just put it in here. It also looks really good. I was going to use as a texture for the side of the rooms that we're about to walk into, but I figured it just looked better out here. But let's go into child development and art. Nice. Here we enter an art classroom, kind of. I mean, an art classroom as best as I could build it in the source engine. Yeah, it just looks so gorgeous in here. But let's go over to this text so you can read it. Very nice. And here I made a small drawing in my sketchbook. I wanted to try and like do a progression of what it might look like if you represented every stage of childhood development in art from left to right, starting with like scribbles and just making marks on the page to making representational forms with the trees in the background, and then getting a bit more into like shading and then having like sunbeams kind of illuminate the water. It's hard to draw like a kid when you're an adult. It's actually you think it would be pretty easy, and I mean honestly it kind of was, but it's almost a little challenging because you have to think backwards in a ways. And yeah, I don't know, it was fun making that. Small but fun. All right, moving forward, we go into exceptionalities. So in here, it's the same room, but whoa, something is very off here. Did I mess this up? No, I actually didn't. So if we go over to our tool gun, I'll explain what the purpose of this is in just a second here. So if we read this, actually it'd probably be better to get the camera out so you can actually see it without the view model in place. But to represent what exceptionalities might look like for, you know, disabled students, what I did was I made a room that kind of was emblematic of what it might feel like to have a disability in an art space that doesn't feel included for it. So I did that by having this like entity texture here where you can actually color this space and adjust it to however you want. You can pick any different color and like add or something, or make this purple. Adjust the space for your creative development. Nice. And now we have this wacky, colorful room. Oh, so cool. But going back out, I think that's everything, I believe. Yeah, I think so. I'll just end on a shot of the spinning ball. I think it looks really good from over here with the sun in the background. But anyways, that's been my visual arts journal project. Thank you so much for the semester. This was a really fun course to participate in, and yeah, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry it took so long to get this out, but I really wanted to put a lot of effort into this, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. But again, thank you so much. This has been Nick Yohannan, and take care, everyone.